According to my watch, I'd entertain a motion at this time to open our South Ogden City Planning Commission meeting.
Make a motion to open the meeting.
I have a motion from Commissioner DDA. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's open. Our first item is a public hearing on the chicken ordinance. I think we had one person write in. And before we do that, let's open the the online public hearing opportunity for 5 minutes, and let's close it at 6:23 approximately. Oh, do you have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 This is from Sam Luvatakis. He said, "I am unable to make the town hall meeting in regards to this subject matter. However, I would like to at least make it known that I am not in favor of this." I guess that's the vote for chickens. I have a neighbor who has chickens, and last August I had an incident where a dog I was fostering got out and attacked a couple of said chickens. As a result, the neighbor came to my house a week before Christmas demanding $300 for the 2 chickens, which, by the way, do not lay golden eggs. This has caused a bit of a problem between them and myself that resulted in me paying him $200 with the understanding that I never see or hear from them ever again. Since then, there has been nothing but trouble, and yes, I understand my own fault in this matter. However, if I'm going to be harassed over a couple of chickens for an obscene amount of money, then I would sway my vote that these animals not be kept for any personal business matters as they claim they are, despite no public record showing a business license or tax records of such business. I do realize I sound like your typical Karen. However, I am tired of all this stemming from a couple of chickens.
Okay.
Lisa, what actually happened? I didn't quite get that.
He was fostering a dog, and the dog attacked and killed 2 of the chickens, which incidentally are illegal at this point.
And then the chicken owners wanted $300 for those chickens.
Can I make a comment, or is this inappropriate?
I'll allow. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just would think that with this ordinance, I believe that it doesn't allow chickens to free run.
That's exactly what I was thinking. They should be in a coop, and they should be protected from a dog that would get
So
loose.
if they're free running, they're breaking the ordinance, and
Now, I'm sorry, we can leave the public hearing open while we move to the next item and just come back, right? Or do we just wait?
So you've already said you're going to leave it online, open
Uh-huh.
online, but you can close it for
Okay.
here.
Do I do that by motion?
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to close the in-person public hearing. Well, you're going to make motion?
Motion
Yeah.
to close the public hearing right now.
Second? Do I have a second? Sorry.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Can I ask a quick question, though? With sharing that letter, was that just something that came in, so you're just sharing it for our information, or are we supposed to, I guess, what do we do with that information?
It would be, so yes, they emailed it to me because I said if you want to submit written comments for the meeting, to email me.
Oh, okay.
And that is the only one that I got. So, yeah, so I gave the chair, I said I can print them out and give it
Okay.
to everybody or read it, and he preferred that I read
Understood,
it.
thank you.
Okay. Let's turn to item 3, the zoning item. And I'll turn the time over to Mark to present the discussion and recommendation on an ordinance to allow and regulate chickens.
Yes, so what you have before you is the proposed changes in the new ordinance, which is the item 101424, keeping of chickens in residential neighborhoods. In addition, we have two complementary ordinances that basically address keeping of animals and fowl in the community. And to summarize, farm animals are not permitted in the community, and what we've added is, or Lisa's added, is some wording to make an exception for chickens. And so basically, I think you've had the opportunity to review all of this, but in particular, the new ordinance itself. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I can't tell, I was listening to, it's not my computer.
I think it's.
It's a laptop fan.
Laptop
Oh, it's
fan.
his laptop, it's a fan, okay. Yeah, okay.
Getting hot. Okay, do we have any questions for staff? I have that at 6:22, so we'll just wait 1 minute for that public hearing before we entertain a motion on that.
So I've got a question around like the I guess, section E there, dead hens and rotting eggs must be removed within 24 hours. How is that enforced? Is there
Good question.
a staff or anybody at the city that somebody
No.
can call to like assist with those matters so we don't end up in a similar
A
situation?
lot of this is if the the people that apply in that are raising chickens, if they're not running a healthy operation, that the neighbors, if they have to report them, then it becomes complaint, right?
And is there any possibility of like losing a permit or something with a certain amount of violations?
I know we discussed putting in that, but it's not there. I believe Commissioner Gresham said that in Roy, they kind of just have a blank statement that any zoning violations, help me out here.
So we have a similar policy, it's fairly similar. They get a permit, they pay for a permit. In order for you to get a permit, the code enforcement officer has to go and look at it and approve on everything. Says it's far enough away from the house, it's big enough, it's not too tall, there's the right amount of chickens that are in there, there's no roosters, that sort of thing. And I sign it off, turn that back into the city. And then that's every year thing. So that was gonna be one of my things too. If we're gonna give them a permit, are we just giving the permit and it's kind of an on your honor thing?
See, and that's part of that. We need somebody to enforce it. And that was, I know a lot of requests from the public hearing. And I know that was your recommendation to the council in the first place. We need somebody to enforce this. And so I think before you came, I suggested include that again for the city
Yeah.
council.
Are you the sole enforcement officer in Roy? That you
Yeah.
just have one?
Yep.
And didn't you say that there's somewhere in the code, it says that if they violate the code, it's a class C or something
Yep.
misdemeanor?
Yep. It's a zoning violation.
And maybe we need, I need to look and see, we might even have that in our code. That's kind of a blanket statement that says what the punishment or, consequences are for violating it. So we'll check that. And if it's not there, we may be coming back later to add it, and it'll come to you.
I do remember, I did have some concerns though with, I guess I'm not a huge fan of zoning. Like I wouldn't, like say I wanted chickens, but I didn't want, no offense, someone coming on my property, property
Oh.
rights things. So we did have this discussion, and we didn't want it to be too onerous
Right.
on the population. I think we wanted it more honor system based. I think this might be intentional, just with the option of maybe changing it later if it became a problem. I just don't think we want to become a highly regulated society at the same time. Just my personal thoughts. Let people govern themselves and just go by complaint. Like, I don't like the thought of having to go get a permit every year to keep chickens for people. That would be a bit on the onerous side.
Yeah.
Just
And
my
we
2
did,
cents.
I think Mark was going to say,
One
we
thing that
did
we
take
do
that
gotta
out.
consider though is that those folks that came in here and talked on the, in that open meeting, there were a lot that were against it completely. So, I mean, it's hard to kind of get a level field. I would say, completely agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, you also have to understand that they have neighbors. And I'm not sure where the fine line ends and begins, but you have to watch out for their neighbors too.
I mean, as far as the, a yearly permit, I don't know that that would be necessary, because if a neighbor complains, the city could send out the enforcement officer to see if they are complying with the ordinance.
Sure.
And that was in the ordinance originally, that they renew it every year. And I requested that it be removed because I said, I don't know that we want to go out there every year to check this. And nor do we have any.
In all fairness, I do not go out there yearly to check them. I believe they just come in and pay their fee. It's basically a first time they come in, they say, hey, I want chickens, and they fill out the permit. They send that to me. I go out and look at the dimensions and everything. They actually bring a site plan of what you're gonna do in your property. So
Yeah.
whether that's a little reach or not, it seems to work.
Just to let you know, I checked, they do have a blanket statement for violation of the zoning ordinance. That I can read it. It's, city council may impose a minimum criminal penalty for the violation of any municipal ordinance by a fine not to exceed the maximum Class B misdemeanor fine under Utah Code annotated, gives the section, or by a term of imprisonment up to 6 months, or by both the fine and term of imprisonment. But then I look on your webpage, and you do highlight 4 specific city code violations: dog license, leash law, or dog running at large, junk ordinance, and winter parking, and you state the actual costs there. So we
And-
could,
Yeah, those aren't zoning ordinances
Okay.
either, so I was wondering if there was one
Right.
specific for zoning violations.
you're right.
Before we go any further, Danielle, did we get any online public comment? Then I'd entertain a motion that we close the online public comment at this point.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do I have a motion, or do we want to continue discussion or a motion on this ordinance?
Is this where we should talk about making sure that what gets to city council is somebody to enforce the,
Yeah, we would include that, and my understanding is we include that as part of the motion,
okay?
a request that council look for and prioritize a code
Okay.
enforcement officer.
What's the likelihood that city council moves forward with the code enforcement officer? Does anyone have an idea?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
What's the likelihood that the city council would accept that and then, create the position?
So I didn't even think they were gonna remand it back to you to create an ordinance, a regulation. I thought they were just gonna vote it out then. So the answer is I have no idea.
I would imagine that it's not likely in this fiscal year, because they probably just adopted their budget, but I do think it sets a good message, because I don't know that I've ever heard of a planning commission doing that. It sends a good message that this is a priority that we see as planning commissioners, and I think city councils take that serious, what planning commission recommends.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, so I know they've discussed, or it was on their list to put in the budget, we're actually going through truth and taxation, so there's still a possibility, but remind me, because we put the planner in there, but I know Steve had an ordinance officer listed also.
Currently, it's not
It's
listed.
not
I mean,
listed.
they could change their mind. Only the council could say for sure whether or not, whatever they choose, they could choose to amend the budget. So we have an acting budget, but the final budget's not until, August. So they could amend that and add that in there, or they could say, we'll keep it in mind for future years. It's really impossible to predict.
It is.
I've got a question on the wording on number F, just, it reads a little funny to me with the, it says residents wanting to keep hens must apply for and receive an approved permit. I just strike the word approved.
So just to confirm, number after 20?
Letter F.
You're such a good editor. I love it.
Okay. We will make a note of it and
That's great.
forward it to the council with that change.
Any other changes or edits? Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion that, is this where I?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll motion, city council adopt a policy to include an enforcement policy, and an enforcement officer.
If I understand, you're saying you want the city, to recommend that the city council adopt this ordinance with the idea that they also include our recommendation that they adopt a code enforcement officer.
Enforcement, yes.
Okay. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Just a point of clarification, they won't adopt an enforcement officer, they will.
Thank you.
Higher.
They could adopt one. It'd be a very touching story. I have a motion by Commissioner Gresham and seconded by Commissioner Caldwell. All in favor?
This,
Aye.
this needs to be a
Roll
roll
call.
call.
Commissioner Bruder,
Yes.
Commissioner Caldwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Gresham,
Yes.
Commissioner Didier,
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell. Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we have an item to discuss the potential rezone of all parks to open space 1. Mark, I'll turn the time over to you to present that.
Okay, so as we mentioned in the pre-meeting, this is, both of the discussion items here are related. This one in particular is to get the zoning ordinance aligned with the general plan map so that all public parks, so city-owned parks, are indicated on the zoning map as O1, which is a currently designated category. It's not creating a new category that permits parks outright. And other things, open space related uses versus what's happening now, which is, first of all, we have, I believe, 3 parks, maybe 4, that are designated O1, and the rest are designated basically residential zones that surround them. So we've had a little bit of, in the recent months, of experience where the public is a little bit confused by this, and it's just to make it clean and also to make it clear to developers and the public that we have more parks than what are indicated on our zoning map. So as you all probably know, or for the new members that don't know, South Ogden has recently completed a general plan development process. was adopted by the city council last year. And the map that I've included in here is the future land use map for South Ogden, which shows the vision for what the city might look like one day in the future. And as you can note, there are 9 parks indicated on it, in addition to a couple of future parks that we're hoping might appear. And so that presents a very different picture than what we see on the zoning map, which is really doesn't show it shows some parks, but it doesn't show all of them. So we've been talking about this for a number of years and cleaning it up, but it seems now it's really a good time to do it.
If you'd like, I can project this current zoning map up there, but it's up to you.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, I'd like to see it too, because if I'm looking at sorry,
You, go ahead, Commissioner Mitchell.
if I look at the current O1 zoning, it doesn't abut the subdivision next to it, well, to the south of what you want to adopt as the O1 zone.
Right.
Do you see that on the map?
Which one is that again? Yeah,
Okay.
they're related. There are 2 items here this evening. One is specifically for the nature park, and it's to clean that up that you're talking about. That we have a portion of it that's shown as being residential. And so the one report here this evening is to get that to match the boundary so that it is all O1.
Okay. So
And then the other item that is before us is to make all of the parks in the city O1 so they're consistent, because the zoning map excludes several parks. It shows them as being residential property or residentially zoned.
Okay, yeah, that's what, okay.
So my understanding just procedurally is that if we decide we want to pursue rezoning these, we need to set a date today to have a public hearing on these items. And at that next meeting, we'd have a public hearing and entertain an ordinance to amend the zoning map. Is that right, Mark?
Right. Yes. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, you could decide if you want to discuss it further or need more information, but that would be the process, is that you would call for a public hearing. And
I think it's a no-brainer. I think we should do it.
again, just so everybody's aware, you're sending a recommendation to the city council.
Right.
Once you hold the public hearing.
Do we have any other questions? I'll entertain a motion then.
I move that we schedule a public hearing to discuss rezoning our parks to O1. Did I say that correct?
Yeah.
O1 open space for next month.
Any second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Bruder, seconded by Commissioner Mitchell. Take a vote. Commissioner Caldwell?
Yep.
Commissioner Gresham?
Yes.
Commissioner Didier?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Commissioner Bruder?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. The next item is the election of a chair and a vice chair. I'm acting tonight as Chair Pro Tem.
Excuse me, Mr.
Oh.
Chair, but Lisa, did we only talk, there's 2 different items here this evening. Can we do them together? like that?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Correct me if I screw this up. I'm just here as Chair Pro Tem, so.
Well, there was the one park specifically, right?
I think, but because he said all,
All we need to do, we're rezoning a portion of Nature Park, which is already O1, because the lines of the zoning don't line up with the line of the park. And so when we rezone all of them to O1, we will send out notices for that,
Yeah.
because we're rezoning that to O1, but just a portion
Do
of
we
it.
need 2 different public hearings, or?
No.
Okay.
As long as we just make it clear to them what the small portion is on Nature Park. So, it was taking a minute for the map to, there it is. Okay, so currently, these bright greens are what we have designated as parks. This is the nature park, and this is a small area that doesn't match up, just right there. It's there and on the other side of Park Vista Drive. This is all, should be O1,
Is that the land someone wanted to buy?
yes. The city council said, no, we don't want to do that, just for your information. This is the cemetery, and it's an O1, and this is the golf course, and it's O1. But no other parks are designated as open space ones. They're just kind of there on the map. So, for example, here's Glassman Park down here. You don't know that it's a park because it's zoned R18. And
I think this will confuse some citizens when they get the notice, but I think once they realize that, I lived up by where the old Club Heights Elementary was, and a lot of the neighborhood there was worried that that property, because it was zoned residential, could become, additional, and I think this will help. Once people understand what we're doing, I think they'll be very reassured at what we're doing.
right, and that's up here, and see, this is the Club Heights Park, and you don't know that it's a park.
Didn't Mark or someone teach us that once you designate a land as O1, it's nearly impossible to change it as O1? Is that?
No, I don't, I think that you can change it to anything, but I think the public really wants to make sure that their parks are secure. And so the question came up this evening, could the city potentially, does this diminish the ability of the city to take a part of a park and sell it? No, it doesn't, but the city would be probably under a lot of fire for doing something like that. So the likelihood of it happening, it just depends on the political will, but it's not like, I've never seen that happen in my career.
Thank you. Anything else on this item?
Just curious about ownership, and we're going to rezone these areas. We own, South Ogden City owns that area that we're highlighting to be amended. So I guess my question would be this lower part of the O1, and that's residential subdivision to the south. South Ogden City doesn't own that, so can we rezone that?
It's only the city park portion that would be rezoned, the property owned by, that would be rezoned, and the map would change to reflect that it's a O1.
And we could rezone anything we want to, really. Even if we don't own it, we could still rezone it.
Right, but do we have to get their permission to rezone it?
We have to hold a public hearing.
We do, we don't need the permission. We would, there's more hoops that you have to jump through, but ultimately, we don't have to.
But we're not going to do that, just city-owned property.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next item is the election of a nomination and election of a new planning commission chair and vice chair. Lisa, do you want to walk us through that process?
So the city code states that every June, we should elect a new chair and vice chair. We did have it on the agenda for the last meeting, but there were very few numbers here, excuse me, and we knew we would be gaining another planning commission member. So those who were in attendance chose to table it until this meeting. So the chair will conduct all meetings and sometimes have to sign a plat or something. And then the vice chair will take his place if the chair is unable to be here.
Okay.
There's some training videos for anyone who, if you're worried that you don't know what to do, there's always a training video.
Thank you. Any questions for staff on this item?
At this point, that terrifies me. I'm just saying.
So be the first to nominate somebody else.
I'd entertain a motion that we open nominations for the chair.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Does anyone have a nomination for a chair?
Does anyone want to be chair? Anyone itching to have that experience? Crickets. Oh, we can nominate John Brad. Can we nominate Bradley again? Or, but he doesn't want it.
Well, he served for 2 years in a row before that, before this year, and then he was the vice chair, and he had to become the chair because Jeremy Howe was the
Yeah.
chair and got elected to the council.
And I think he wasn't here, so we nominated him in his absence.
Well, he was the vice chair, so he
Oh,
just
that's right.
automatically moved up.
But I think we nominated him as vice chair in his absence.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, I don't know, I think that maybe some other people need the opportunity.
I'll nominate Commissioner Mills.
Do you have any other nominations? I don't know that I want to do it, but I'm not going to turn it down, so. Any other nominations? I'd entertain a motion that we close nominations for the chair.
I motion we close nominations.
Second, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd entertain a motion that we open nominations for the vice chair.
I think you need to vote on,
Oh,
I guess there's only one nomination, though.
Okay.
I don't know that you need to vote. Is it called or vote by consent, or?
all in favor of appointing myself as chair of the planning commission?
Does this need to be a roll
Aye.
call?
Do we need to do a roll call?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, I guess.
You're gonna do great.
I'd entertain a motion to open nominations for the vice chair.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I would nominate Commissioner Bruder.
And anyone want to be, else want to be vice chair?
I'm,
Not me, no, thank you.
I think Commissioner Gresham really wants to do it.
second.
Nominating Commissioner Gresham?
I thought the nomination was for Mills.
Yeah, don't turn this around in your That was,
Oh, wait.
that was pretty slick.
I thought he said someone said Gresham. I'm just.
I was teasing Commissioner Gresham, but I nominated you. Any other nominations?
So who do we have on the table?
Commissioner Bruder.
Okay.
Anybody else? Any other nominations?
What, remind me your last name again. I'm
Mitchell.
Mitchell. I nominate Commissioner Mitchell.
Any other nominations? I entertain a motion that we close nominations and we'll take a vote on these two candidates.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Should we have a speech? From each nominee?
Or will it be more like a, you should not elect me because,
That's what it'll be.
Here's your chance to try to get out of
We're
it.
going to be campaigning for the other person.
This is a good chance to probably soda machines in the hall and.
I wish I would have brought my copy of South Ogden Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's on COVID?
Do either of you have feeling, I'm just curious, do either of you like desperately not want to do it? I mean, I don't know that I was really Jones about doing it, but
I don't care to do it. I mean, Commissioner Bruder's been around a lot longer than I have.
But I have been here 3 years now, but I'm okay not doing it. Does, to him especially.
okay. Well, let's take a vote. All in favor of Commissioner Bruder, we'll do a roll call vote. Yeah, that makes sense. And we'll start with Commissioner Gresham. Bruder or
I'll go
Mitchell?
with Bruger.
Okay. Commissioner Didier?
Bruder.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Bruder.
Commissioner Bruder?
Mitchell?
Commissioner Caldwell?
I'll go Bruder.
Congratulations, Commissioner Bruder.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, no disrespect intended there. Next, we have the approval of the Planning Commission minutes from June 13th of 2024.
Can I just make a comment? I left Danielle out of on the list of people who are present, so we need to add her in there, just so
Okay.
you know.
Thank you. Any other corrections or changes that need to be made? Do you have a motion on those minutes then?
I motion to add Danielle to the minutes and to approve the minutes from June 13th.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that. Oh,
I have a motion from Commissioner Gresham, and I'll give the second to Commissioner Mitchell. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Do we have any staff reports this evening?
No, nothing
No.
has been approved. I think I told you at the pre-meeting that the council, no, it was just during this discussion, they did not want to sell the park property. And I think that was it.
Okay.
Were they aware of that before we got the work put in on that?
No. Well, the mayor was, but he doesn't get to vote.
Yeah.
Did the mayor want to sell it?
I don't know.
Okay.
And have you announced to everybody that the city is now looking for a full-time planner?
The city is now looking for a full-time planner.
Well, you're leaving too?
So we've been contracted with
Wait,
Mark.
is that you?
Yeah,
Chief.
Mark's the planner. I'm the city recorder, not
Recorder,
me.
sorry.
Mark is getting ready to retire. He's also going to be out of the country. So anyway, it would just seem to be a good time. We've been thinking about it for a while, and the council approved it last week, and Doug can tell us how many applications we've received, and
So far, we have, I think, we have 5 candidates. 2 that are marginally qualified, 3 that are marginally qualified, 2 that are semi-marginally qualified. So, but it's early yet.
How do
How-
you replace Mark? That's gonna be big shoes to fill.
how much longer are we going to keep it open?
Till we find the right person. So it just depends, so we'll advertise, I don't know that we have a date that we have to close it by and hire somebody. We really need somebody that is qualified, so if we find the right person, it could be as short as a month. If not, it could be longer. It's just hard to say. All we need is one person.
The right person.
That's right.
Both of you, so close?
It's because we're sitting at this table. Lisa wanted to sit at this table, but since she's at that table, she has to wait.
Yeah.
I'm officially retired 2 weeks ago, but I'm working part-time. So,
That's not retired then.
I know. It's
You
a
don't
first
understand the
today.
definition
I
of the
know.
word, my friend.
Well, you both will be missed greatly.
Yeah, absolutely. We have no members of the public here tonight to give public comments, so I'd entertain a motion that we adjourn. Oh, what?
Online comment, just see if there's any online comment.
Oh, are there any online comments?
Not at this moment, because I have not posted anything about it. I was waiting on a call,
Okay. Do we usually
so I
open?
can put it right now.
Yeah, I guess that's your choice if you want to give them like a minute or so to do that. How many people are online?
I can ask a question while we give them a minute.
Yeah, let's do that. I'd entertain a motion that we open public comment.
You
So
don't
moved.
even have to do that because it's on the agenda. You don't have to motion.
We'll open it for 2 minutes while Vice Chair Bruder asks his question.
So my question is regarding the Nature Center Park. I know of a nonprofit that wants to reserve it. It's like a youth, it's called Velocity Running Club. And they want to rent it to do an event, a cross-country event this fall. Who would they talk to
So
rent it?
you call into the city to reserve the
We
Bowery.
actually don't reserve the nature park at this point in time.
Well, the amphitheater?
We don't.
Oh, I thought we did.
Can you rent the park, like the Bowery at the park next to it?
No, we don't rent that anymore because people that rented it thought they rented the splash pad as well, and it caused quite a bit of trouble. So at this point in time, we don't reserve that Bowery.
Could
But it's a first come, first serve. You could still,
so what if a youth running organization wanted to just use the track, and have like a finish line in that area?
They could
But
do
they
that.
probably wanted to coordinate it just because people will be parking. They just want to, who would I refer them to?
You probably could just refer them to Danielle.
Okay. Perfect.
Could I ask a couple questions about park while you're on it, actually? Can I add to it?
Yeah, I'm done with my questions.
Okay. So I had originally thought that South Ogden City owned all of that park, all the trail systems and all that kind of stuff, but I see on the Weber County Recorder's interactive map that we do own part of it, South Ogden City, but then another individual, Andrew and Mary Conrady Joint Family Trust, owns a large majority of it as well. Is there like a,
that's an error by the county.
is it?
Yeah, and I believe if you look, so are you looking on the interactive GeoGizmo?
Yeah.
If you look on the actual plat, it just is South Ogden City, so it's
Okay.
something to do with the website.
Okay.
I noticed that too when we were looking at the lines of the zoning and who owned what, so.
Danielle, any public comment? Thank you. I'd entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bruder and seconded by Commissioner Gresham. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned.
I think that's next. I planned on printing these out, bringing them just so I had physical copies.
Yeah, I'll probably be here next
Working out better
month.
for how you guys do it, because you get to see. I didn't print them out in color this time, and I'm like, I messed that up. But
Yeah, it was nice to have the zoning map,
I probably need to just go pick
Are you
one
going
of
to
them
move
up.
to Sweden?
Actually, it's just a pad,
Yeah.
either a droid pad or an iPad, or just